Yo, what's poppin' everyone? In this video I'm going to show you how I made an entire EDM drop with this. Actually, it's more like how I made the entire EDM drop with the open low E string. But anyways, let's get into it. I just gotta put this back first. Let's just listen to it and see how it sounds. Alright, so it's actually how I made a terrible EDM drop with one note from a guitar, but whatever! This was basically a video all about learning how to use what you have to make something different. Just for me, okay? Just for me, not for you, for me. But you're just gonna see how I did it anyways. First things first, let's just take a look here at how long this took me. 8 hours and 25 minutes. Three days of working on this to come up with that. To start it off, I want to show you the original sound and go from there. It is just a pluck, just a low E pluck, nothing else. I guess if we're going to break this thing down, let's break it down, get into detail, and just show you everything that I did to make this become something. First things first. The kick. You need a kick drum, so I was like, how do you get a kick drum? This one actually has 3 different layers. We have a kick and a kick and a kick. So they sound like this. First one, nothing fancy. Second one, a lot more sub. And the third one, more of a high-pitched punch type deal. And together, they sound like this. More like a full kick. Alright, so how did I actually get those noises from the original? Well, I shortened them, cut some pieces out. Like, that first initial pluck of the guitar is basically where these came from. And then, as you can see, I stretched things, I pitched them, I manipulated the time, I have the start values different, the length different. Manipulating that one wavelength we got to make it sound different. The pitch goes like way down, and then put on a mixer track, and there's distortion, there's EQ, there's a compressor, there's sound goodizer, there's more EQ. There are 4 different EQs in this one. Just pulling up different things after each effect. And then I don't even have the saturator on that one because it didn't sound good, so I took it off. Same thing for this other kick, this subby kick, pitched way down and manipulated. Oh, and before we go any further, to prove, I guess I can't really prove that this is all from the guitar. You'll just have to take my word for it. But I'm going to show you the mixer channel rack. Yeah. If this were like VSTs or virtual instruments, it would be in the unsorted category. It's not in the unsorted category. It is in the audio category. And it's all audio files. Every single one of them. So let's continue with the kicks. The second kick, there's not as many effects. Just some sound goodizer, EQ, a little bit of distortion. Wave shaper, let me tell you, that thing saved my life a lot. You can get a lot of funky stuff with the wave shaper. And then just some FX, which are actually a filter, probably making it more subby, because that was the sub kick. And then we have that like pluck, which only has 3 things: a compressor, sound goodizer, and some EQ. But it's also stretched and just a little part of something. making it sound like a kick. And then we have a snare. A snare, yeah, a snare. The snare is the same as in the regular part of the drop. That's all the snare is. A little tick noise. Whole bunch of effects on that as well. I'm not going to go through all the effects because a lot of them are the same. Maybe when we get to the funky stuff like the lead and the synths. Just for the build up, I did some automations, you know, how to try and build some tension, I guess. And same thing with the perk. Which I don't even know if it's a perk, it's just something. Whole bunch of stuff on that, some reverb in this one. I don't know if there's reverb on any of the other ones. And that's that. Then let's get into the main juice of it all. The kicks stay the same. We added some like hats. I guess this is a clap. Again, just a little part of probably the initial strum, I'm guessing. Pitched down a little bit, stretched, whole bunch of stuff. We have some OTT on it to probably get that like crisp sound. We have a hat. I believe that one's pitched up a lot. Yeah, it's pitched up a lot. And really small. And, oh yeah, we have a vocodex on it. Because that's actually what really manipulated it to turn it into like that little tick noise. Back to the snare here. I made a second snare, which is similar to the first, but a little bit different, just so when it gets to this point, it sounds a little different. You don't really notice it, but it does. Makes a difference. The drums are basically how I started this whole song. I wanted to get the drums down. Even if they weren't fantastic, I knew I needed a beat to make the song, or drop. And then came some weird stuff. I wanted to really groove, so I manipulated and made like a growl thing. Which actually has 2 mixer tracks. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in that. Some distortion, a bunch of EQ, some ozone to give it space. I don't really know. Pitch down. Yeah, it just sounds... You can tell it's the guitar, but it just gives it a weird vibe thing. I don't really know. And then I did that again with this scratch. It's just shorter. It's a little bit different sound. Also has some effects on it to make it sound different. And this is where the wave shaper came in handy. You kind of tweaked it to sound better, more growly, different. And that is the whole beat. Getting into the drop, we have this thing from the scratch that sounds like this with the volume automated. And that was just this little waveform here, stretched out the whole way, so it was really slow with the automation on the volume. Makes it kind of unique. I don't know if it fits, but I liked it, so I left it. And I was just sick of working on this thing for 8 hours, and that was the end. I guess let's just listen to what this sounds like on its own. Oh yeah, and if you caught that there, the end of it, the growls go up in pitch to follow the melody of the track. So then we have some synths. A lot of this stuff just says bass because I made the basses before it, but let's just, yeah, this synth right here, which is called another synth. That's what that sounds like. You can kind of hear a guitar there. It's got wave shaper, OTT, all the other stuff. Just a bunch of stuff to make it sound cool. Distortion. And it's just spread out along all these things. The initial, I guess, waveform sounds like this. So it rings out for a very, 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 very long time. And the whole reason I have these like ghost notes or dead notes right here and right here, is so it doesn't ring out, because I didn't know how to shorten that and still make it sound good, and I wasn't sure if I would want longer notes in my synths, like held notes. And then we have another synth which sounds a little bit different, similar but different, just more effects, same thing. I believe this one is also long. Not as long, but still. And then I automated the reverb so it would sound big, but then like stop right after, because I didn't want the reverb to keep going when we're listening to the rest of it. And then these little reverse things are just one, I don't remember if it was another synth or the saw synth, but it's one of them, just put into Edison and reversed, so it kind of builds into them. That's all that is. Nothing fancy. Just sounds like this. Yeah, pretty simple. This one sounds like this, because it's, you know, building. So then we'll do the lead and then the bass, because the bass is honestly my favorite part, and I could have left that by itself, but I just wanted to build. So the lead waveform sounds like this. Kind of cool. I think there's too much reverb, but whatever. There's some filters going on, sound goodizer, vocodex, hardcore even, which is like guitar pedals, and it just turns the whole thing crazy. Plus there's kickstart on it. That sounds like this by itself. It's just very big and kind of in your face, but I don't know. I kind of like it. It kind of works with itself. Works with the song. So then we have this bass, which I believe all I did for this bass, besides, you know, putting a whole bunch of goodizer on it and wave shaper to pump up the bass and EQ the crap out of it so you only hear the low notes, was pitch it down. I didn't even pitch it down. I literally just left it. I just cut out a section of the guitar and left it, and then turned it into that. But the melody, oh, the melody. I'm not even 100% sure how I got the melody. I'm pretty sure I did the bass 2 first. Yeah, the bottom bass first, and then just threw the melody on this one, but I had the sound first. Yeah, that's all it is. A whole lot of beefy goodness. And then we have my favorite bass, bass number 2, which has a lot of the similar stuff. They both have kickstart on them. This one's got wave shaper, sound goodizer, some distortion. I think the distortion is really what makes it for me. But this one sounds like this all by itself. Yeah, it's just the guitar again. It's like the same thing. But with all these effects, it changes it to sound like this. So all in all, guys, that's how I made my drop with just one note from a guitar. It was a crap ton of editing, a crap ton of sound design, which I am not very good at, but I'm learning to get better at. And I don't even know why I had this idea. It just popped into my head. So if you enjoyed this video and, you know, you liked it, share it with your friends, tap the like button, comment, leave a beautiful message for me to read. Or if you like my music, like the song that came out last week, which I'm in love with, by the way. It's not really my song, it's just my remix. Fantastic. Go listen to it if you haven't, it's right here. If you like that, you know, let me know. I can try to make some more of that. I will make more of that. Yeah, but thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
wanna go home.